So today we're going to cover off a little bit on Skyriver IT and Acumatica, why that's a winning combination. We're going to give you a demo. We're going to open it up to some Q&A at the end, and we are going to make sure everybody's got their Grubhub vouchers as well so that you enjoy a free lunch on us. So next slide. Today I'm doing a little bit of the talking on the front end, about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to shift gears and Paul's going to take over and head up the demo, and then we're going to tag team on the Q&A. Next slide. So a little bit about Skyriver IT. We are an outsourced IT services provider and IT consultant based in San Diego. We've been working in Southern California for the last 10 years, and we've been helping our clients to kind of focus on their core competencies and taking the frustrations out of IT for them. Next slide. Some of the things that we do are 24/7 live answer help desk, staffed right here out of Southern California. We have VCIO services. What that is a virtual chief information officer. So it's somebody that's going to pull together a 3-year strategic roadmap for where you're going with your technology, your hardware, your software. Also, they provide annual budgets and detailed project recommendations, as well as vendor management. So those are some of the ways that we enable frustration-free IT. So live answer, 24/7 help desk. People are going to speak to you in plain English. They're not using technical jargon at all. If we have to dispatch people on site, we can do that. We basically monitor and manage everything remotely. And we kind of have figured out a better way to deliver frustration-free IT. So that's how we've got our start, and we've also have a suite of services related to IT consulting. Next slide. So on the IT consulting side, we have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of different business management solutions that are out there. You know, there are a lot of issues that we help to resolve for our clients, and it's actually our clients that have asked us to get into this space and help them, and that's when we had to go out and find something a little bit more robust than QuickBooks. We're also a QuickBooks Pro advisor. So a lot of companies that were getting off of QuickBooks were looking for something a little bit better to handle their businesses that are scaling, and we found that Acumatica was a great fit. Next slide. So why do we think it's a good fit? Well, first of all, we have three items on our customer bill of rights. They have 10. They also have a customer bill of rights. So that's a good place to start. So we have great minds think alike. So what we have put forward for our clients is that we're going to speak to you without technical jargon in plain English, that when you call us, you need to be able to speak with somebody, live answer, 24/7. And finally, if you run into any issues, you're entitled to get that issue solved right the first time. So you don't have to be calling back or have people applying band-aids to things. If you look at you know, what Acumatica does for their clients, they kind of build on the things that we've talked about, plus they've introduced some other items of their own, basically to put the client first and demonstrate excellent customer service. And so this is a way of ensuring that customers are treated right. So kudos to Acumatica for doing that, and we like what we see in terms of their Bill of Rights. Next slide, please. So why are companies looking at business application systems? If we look back in time, we've had a lot of businesses that, you know, have been running on different analog business systems. Sometimes, you know, things can be run on Excel spreadsheets, and as businesses scale, you might bring in some technology here and there, and so you might end up with some software solutions or other things that are going to be targeted to a specific need. And so you might end up with, a customer document management solution, a customer relation management solution, or CRM. You might end up with an accounting system, an inventory management system, and all those things are great solutions, except they're not integrated and they don't communicate, and you get yourself kind of sideways working with different methodologies, idiosyncrasies with the software, the necessity to sometimes double entry, meaning you have to keep track of things and transactions in two different systems. That can get a little bit cumbersome. So what is digital business? Well, digital business is where everything seems to work. It's fully integrated. You're going to get things that are integrated all the way from a dashboard down. You can drill down, you can see reports, you can go down to transactional level detail, and your systems are just going to be a little bit happier talking together. It's going to be a little bit more efficient and effective for you. And at the end of the day, it is a terrific way to face the challenges that businesses are facing now in 2021. Next slide. So why Acumatica? Well, Acumatica is a solution that was born in the cloud, built for the cloud, and is going to be there for you when you need it, no matter what device you connect with. We find that Acumatica is the next generation of software solutions. There's a lot of kind of repackaged 90s version of client server solutions that are on the market right now. Very few of them are like Acumatica, where it was born in the cloud and built for the cloud. Next slide. So when we talk about the cloud, there's a couple different options. You can go with a SaaS service that's built on the AWS infrastructure, or if you have additional compliance requirements in-house, or that you just want a little bit more control over your environment to integrate it with other Microsoft tools, you can put it into the Microsoft Azure cloud as well. And finally, there's also an on-premise option. If you still have some useful life in your client server setups in your offices, then you can also implement an on-premise version of Acumatica until the end of life is reached for your servers and your existing hardware. Next slide. Nowadays, who isn't talking about cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is definitely its own pandemic. It's kind of mirrored some of the things that have been happening during the pandemic in terms of just scaling and becoming a real big issue. A lot of these companies that are facing issues with their safeguarding their networks and their data are going to find that a SaaS solution like this offers you top-notch security with the least amount of headaches. Next slide, please. And also sitting on top of a solution like Acumatica, there's a number of different business intelligence solutions that can pull that data out, present it to you in a graphical format that's easier to digest. It's the difference between having data and having information that you can make decisions with. So that's some of the beauty that's involved with Acumatica. You have full access to the back-end SQL tables. So if you are able to write SQL queries, write your own reports, access your transactional data, this is a solution that gives you basically the best of all worlds, in that you have access to your data no matter what. Next slide. And again, more on data ownership. Yes, you have access to all that data and you can visualize it no matter what. Next slide. And no matter what device. So nowadays, one of the biggest things is that you don't need to even type on a keyboard. You can just talk to your devices. You can talk to your smartwatch. You can talk to Alexa or Siri. And this particular software is also integrated and works across all platforms. So you can wake up in the morning, get your notifications on your smartwatch, look at your tablet or your smartphone, and start your day. As you get to the office, you'll work on your computer. It might be a desktop. You might also have a laptop, and you pick that up, take that with you to meetings, and bring it back home and continue working. So no matter where you're working, having your data in the cloud is a huge benefit. And now you can also access it with simple voice commands using Alexa or Siri. Next slide. So some of the additional features with Acumatica that are worth noting is that in comparison to other solutions that are on the market, you can bring your entire company up day one when you go live with the solution. That means that there's no hidden extra cost for scaling the system up to meet all the needs of your business and to get that tool in everybody's hands. And this is a very competitive and cost-friendly way of moving to the cloud. So it's something that Acumatica is pioneering with their model where it's sized up according to the number of, the volume of transactions and the size of your organization. So we find that this is one of the biggest competitive advantages when looking at other solutions. Next slide. And finally, Acumatica Open University is free training, so you can use this training to educate yourself on all the functionality and features of the software. There is a wealth of information available at your fingertips, and best of all, it's also free, which is very good. So with that, I'm going to segue to Paul now, and he'll talk about a little bit about Acumatica and give you a demo.
Great. Thank you very much, Rudy. I appreciate the introduction and look forward to showing Acumatica. And I appreciate your kind words about the product. This is the Acumatica browser, and it is presented in Chrome today. Now, as Rudy said during the presentation, Acumatica can be accessed from anywhere at any time from any device. This IP address is exactly the address that I log into. I've got login credentials for Maxwell, and it provides that combination, provides for me my environment and access to Acumatica. The product is role-based, and so because of that, my security is based on the role that I'm assigned. Is this demo is of everything in the product, then we are able to see everything because Maxwell Baker is an administrator with access to everything. However, if I were going to be an AP clerk or an AR clerk, my view of Acumatica changes significantly. I would lose access to certain dashboards. Things would be locked because I don't have access to it. I would lose access to work areas because I don't need them. So if I'm an AP clerk, I'm definitely not going to have access to sales orders or receivables just because of the conflict of interest that might bring into the system. So Acumatica ships with a number of roles already pre-baked. These roles allow implementers to quickly and efficiently set up your environment, and yet are flexible enough to allow each organization to change those roles to fit the specific requirements of their employees and the roles that the employees play within the system. Acumatica is multi-company, multi-currency. So I can have multiple companies rolled up in a single environment so that my consolidation, my interaction between those organizations can be automated and done in an efficient and quick manner. So it gives me full capability to manage multiple businesses from a single environment. Workspaces allow end users to access the menu items that they need in order to perform their functions. For example, if I'm the controller, I'm going to have access to the finance work area. In the finance work area, there might be certain things I do all the time, like create journal entries or look up account summaries or look up account details. So I can have those there at my fingertips in my quick menu. However, there's a wealth of additional items or functions that can be performed in the finance work area. And in order to access those, I have the capability of switching my workspace so that I can see all the options available to me and that my security allows. As an end user, I can manage access to these, the full menu versus the quick menu, by selecting those items that I want to have in my quick menu. So journal transactions and journal vouchers and allocations are all items that I need access to within my quick menu. Simply by checking those boxes, I can add those to my quick menu, and now they show up appropriately. Because not everybody uses the same terminology, even in GAAP across the United States, much less across the world, Acumatica provides the capability for either administrators overall within the environment or for end users to change titles for items within the structure of the product. For example, it may be that in some environments, we like to use the term deals instead of opportunities. And so I can have my entire opportunity tab show up using the word deal, or I can revise that simply by editing that and changing that deal logo or title to opportunities, so that every organization can share and maintain their own language within Acumatica and provide then an access to and an internal vocabulary for all the functionality within the ERP product. And you know, ERP is probably an old and outdated term that doesn't always seem to fit what Acumatica does, because Acumatica provides more than just ERP. Acumatica provides full business management right from inside this product, because everybody has access to the same information, so that dissemination of information and the use of that information is quick and efficient in this product. Dashboards and business intelligence is one of the things that Acumatica is known for, and one of the things for which we are very proud. Here, for example, is the controller dashboard. The controller dashboard provides your controller information that is quickly and easily identified, and you can manage then the exceptions in this information because they're brought to your attention. For example, on the left-hand side, the controller has in these 6 panels what we call a part of the AR clerk's dashboard. So as a controller, the AR clerk probably does report to him or her. And so they are going to be able to view what's going on in AR at a glance. What's my open sales orders? What's my total open AR? Do I have unreconciled transactions? What's the amount? How much AR is overdue? Do I have customers on credit hold? How much is my cash on hand? AP clerk, the same thing. What's my total AP? What do I have open on purchase orders? What are my overdue APs? So quickly and easily, you can see, identify information, and then using conditional formatting can tell which of those items may be a problem. So maybe in your environment, you'd like to have 15 million as your absolute max exposed credit. And now I'm up to 20.3 million. Maybe that's a problem, and that's why that's red. Additionally, information can be brought to us in graph. So the AR aging here in a graph form shows which of these items I have the most of. And as I hover over every one of these, it gives me a legend of what's going on. And of course, AP, the same thing. I can see my cash position, income and expenses, and so forth. So dashboards provide me access and a view of the world that I wouldn't normally have, and allows me to manage by exception as opposing to manage every transaction. And as you can see, there are a number of dashboards within Acumatica. I'd like to pull up the customer view dashboard because this customer view dashboard has a feature that is pretty unique. In this dashboard, I can view all of my customers and all of the activity for my customers. So I know how many orders there are to ship, what are my open opportunities, what items were purchased in the last 12 months as a graph and a percentage of my total sales. And that's for all my customers, but I can restrict this particular dashboard to a specific customer. So if I'd like to look at Alta Ace and see what's going on with that customer, now I can see the information that is just for this customer. It gives me a great way to view overall and then specifically by customer what's going on. So maybe your sales manager and your salespeople can use this same dashboard and access their information that they need to actually perform their work. Dashboards are all supported in Acumatica by actual data within the database. For example, if I go into open opportunities, I'm going to get the list of open opportunities that make up that 156. And we will see that I have the capability of working with these opportunities, either by modifying filters that have been used to create the actual list that I'm performing, or by actually managing and working on the transactions specifically. Now, in many, many softwares, if I wanted to work on an opportunity 403, I would click on opportunity 403, it would create a pop-up, and then I would work on it, make my changes, and go back to the list and open another window and so forth. In Acumatica, we've actually provided a way to do that more efficiently, and we call that the side panel. In the side panel, it's going to allow me to open this particular opportunity, make my changes to this opportunity, and then move to the next one. So I never have to close this window. I don't have to wait for this window to open. I am able to work this in an orderly fashion. Now, one of the things that we like to show during these events where we're showing off our product is the capability of Acumatica to communicate with the outside world. That's what makes Acumatica more than just an ERP system. It actually makes it a management system. And one of the things that we do is communicate to salespeople opportunities that are presented or created and assigned to them. So I'd like to go ahead and I'm going to change the owner of this particular opportunity 392. I'm going to change it to Maxwell. Now notice that I don't have to pull up the magnifying glass to find Maxwell. I just start to type in his name. It becomes a selection available for me, and I make that change and then show. Then I am able to basically get that assigned to him. I can go down the list and find other opportunities that aren't assigned to anybody and do the same thing. And so not only am I working that list, but I am informing the salespeople as I'm working this list that they have been assigned to a particular opportunity. Now, in the background, because I've got my phone muted, you didn't hear it, but I have just received a couple of texts from Products Wholesale, and they are telling me that I have been assigned to opportunity 392 and opportunity 379, and asking me to follow that up. In addition, I also have been provided push notifications out of Acumatica for the same information. So if I wanted to begin working opportunity 392, I would just select it from the notification. It's going to open it up and pull up opportunity 392 for me so I can begin working on it. So the efficiency has been gained and competitive advantage has been gained because you didn't have to have a sales administrator assign that case and then call the salesperson and say, would you please look up case 379? Or you didn't have an email go out to a salesperson, because email, although salespeople seem to live in their email client, can be slow, can be something that they don't pay attention to. But everybody pays attention to text. And so quickly and easily, we have texted that particular salesperson. They know that they're on the hook to work that case, and they can begin working it. So moving from just information to actual action provides great functionality, great competitive advantage for you and your organization. Customers are the core for Acumatica, your customers and our customers as well. Let's talk a little bit more about user efficiency and how users can use the product to perform their jobs. Now, one of the things that many organizations have to do, whether they're selling widgets or whether they're selling services, is to create sales orders. And Acumatica provides a great sales order tool for our customers. I'm going to go through and create a sales order, and then as I'm creating a sales order, we're going to make a few stops along the way and look at some of the value add functionality that Acumatica provides in the sales order process. What's really great about this is that these items that I'm going to show you in this value add proposition are sometimes and really oftentimes available in other modules. So as I'm showing you this, we're actually showing you information that's also available across the modular base. For example, the type ahead functionality. So as I type part of a customer's name, it will begin to identify that customer and bring a list of the customers to me that fit the bill. So as I type in more of the name, that list begins to reduce until I'm able to select that customer. Customers can have any number of locations that they work with that within Acumatica. So this particular customer has one location, but if there were additional locations that this customer had that were shipping locations, I can select those as I'm creating the sales order. And let's just talk about creating a sales order for laptop computers, because I happen to know that I have some of those in stock. And we'll be able to tell fairly quickly where I have those in stock. So, item availability. As I am adding an item, I get the same type ahead functionality that we saw for the customer. And that item is going to default to a standard warehouse that I have. On the bottom of this page, we see that in the wholesale warehouse, I have 530 of these on hand with 494 that are available to sell and 497 that I could actually ship. Now I can do a more detailed view of item availability right from my sales order, so I can see my allocations, what things are allocated to, what shipments they're part of, so that I can see exactly how this 497 is calculated. And I can do that across multiple warehouses. So I can see that for wholesale, I can see it for my retail warehouse. If I'm going to ship something out of the retail warehouse, I can see the availability. I've got 200 available there. So it gives me full access to that functionality within Acumatica. So quickly and easily, I can pull up and find that detail within the product. I got a little sidetracked. So I can find that information available in the product, and I should have saved before I went on my little walk through the item availability. Now, in addition to availability, I also have the capability of pricing based on customer matrix pricing. So for example, as I add one of these to my sales order, I get a unit price for Alta Ace of $500. I happen to know that there's a quantity break for Alta at 3. So as I add 3 of these units, I get a unit price of $475. So quickly and easily, I'm able to have customer specific pricing maintained by item by customer, and shows up easily on the sales order as I use those items. I also have the capability of shopping for shipping directly from my sales order. Now, how do I do that? Well, I go to the shipping tab and I go to this box called Shop for Rates. In Acumatica, I can record weights for a specific item. I can record packaging for a specific item carrier combination. So let's go ahead and shop for rates and take a look at what's available for us today for this 8-pound package. So first off, I'm not going to be sending this international, and of course, international shipping is not available for a domestic address. So here I've got FedEx overnight, I've got FedEx standard overnight. As I come down, I've got UPS ground, and I have FedEx ground. FedEx ground is going to take 5 days. We're expecting then the delivery to be there on May the 26th. I think that's going to be okay, and I'll go ahead and select that. As I select it, it is going to tell my warehouse how to pack this. So in order to get the $30 shipping, I need to pack this in 1 medium box. Great. I go ahead and I'll select FedEx ground, and now I have the ship via selected for me based on shopping for the rates. And also I have the freight cost and freight price added automatically for me to this purchase order. So it gives me straight up a way to add the freight quickly and easily to my total order. Once I have completed my sales order, either as a salesperson or as the sales admin, it is going to be moved down the line to the next person. And those next people that work on this sales order can be notified via a list or a generic inquiry, can be notified via dashboard, because of course we do have dashboards for the shipping clerks that will tell them how and what needs to be done. And so when they go in here, they're going to find information about shipments that need to occur. Now we can use that, or the last thing that could happen is that they could get a push notification that a sales order is ready to ship. So once we have confirmed with our informed shipping that they need to create a shipment, they have the capability of opening up that same sales order. Once again, we're using this as a management tool and create the shipment. We create the shipment, we pull those laptops right off the shelf, put them in a box, seal the box up, and then we confirm that we have shipped those items. That will then confirm our packaging, confirm it will create our packaging label. And it will then allow us to prepare the invoice for the customer. This could be 3-4 people that are doing this, and it could be being done in batches. But what's great is it's all being done from the same central data repository so that the status of every order can be reviewed, watched, and you know exactly what's going on. And that is how Acumatica can help your users develop and maintain a competitive advantage in creating and shipping product. A couple of other features that relate to usability, and then I'm going to turn it back over to Rudy and we're going to answer your questions if you have any. Every screen in Acumatica provides for the end user the capability of managing the columns that are visible. So today, when I was creating this sales order, everything we needed to show for the demo today was included here on this first screen. That is not by accident. I created this screen so that I could use it for the demo. There are a number of different screen functionalities or columns that are available, especially in the sales order, but think about accounts payable or purchase orders. Lots of detailed data columns that are available for many transaction types. So as an end user, I have the capability of including or excluding certain items. So for example, if I know that I'm never going to be using field service and requiring an appointment for installation for a sales order, I can take that off of my columns list and clean up my columns list. If I know that I'm never going to include files or notes in my tab sequence, then I can take them out of my tab sequence. So I tab directly to the branch, then to the inventory ID, then to the warehouse. Maybe I never want to tab into line description, so I'll take off that tab. And now, as an end user, I have modified my column layout and I have modified my tab sequence. And I can do that for any of the detail windows located within the product. Well, Rudy, I think that that is everything that I had to display today. And let's see if there's any questions.
I got to unmute. So if anybody has any questions, please use the chat box. There's symbols across the top of the computer. It's the second symbol from the left. And you can just type away and we'll get to answering any questions you might have. Jake's got a question here. What is the easiest way to search for an existing sales order? Seems like a layup.
That is a layup. Thank you, Jake. And it's one of the features that we are quite proud of in Acumatica. So in Acumatica, we have a universal search that allows a user to go out and find anything within the Acumatica database that you need to. For example, if I wanted to find every menu item that had to do with the word bank, I type in the word bank into my universal search, all the menus show up. If I want to find all my vendors or customers with bank in the title, they show up. If I want to find sales orders with the word bank in them, they show up. Same with the document management system that is included with Acumatica. All of the files that include the word bank will show up on a universal search. So as I search for a sales order, I can start by typing in SO and maybe then typing in a specific sales order number that I may need to find. And as I do that, those items will bring themselves forward and I can find them. If I would rather go straight to the source of the location of information, I can also go directly to my sales order window, find my list of sales orders, and filter then by specific numbers. So if I want to find sales order 6197, I type in 6197, and everything that relates to 6197 will then appear.
Thanks for that, Paul. Looks like we have another question here. This one's from Greg. He's asking, love the layout and thinking affordable for 100+ employees, but can this work for companies with 10 to 20 employee headcount? Yeah, that's kind of where most companies find themselves that are switching over to Acumatica. So typically it's companies that have had some kind of legacy solution in place, and you know, either you've scaled and outgrown, you know, whatever that legacy solution is. So now that put you in the 100+ camp, or you're sitting down there at 10, 20 people and you've figured out a way to, you know, make your business work and be productive, and you know, you've got the resources to afford a solution like this. And it's quite affordable, actually. Most people focus on the cost of the software or the cost of the implementation. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that's the wrong thing to look at. The right thing to look at is to figure out where you're putting your time, and your people are putting their time. So if you have 10 to 20 people, and this kind of solution will bring efficiencies to your operation, the solution pays for itself in those efficiencies. So the man hours that are devoted to working with clunky solutions or going between different software solutions and re-entering information, all of those things have a cost. So it's important to, you know, focus on the right things, but we can definitely help people that have questions. And we've implemented companies as small as 5 people on Acumatica. So we know that it's an excellent solution for companies of all size. Any more questions? Please put them through the chat box. Thank you for your question, Greg. Paul, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I think it was a great answer, Rudy. It's not the size of your organization. It really is the competitive advantage you're going to experience, the ability to do more with less, and I think Acumatica provides that access.
Thanks, Paul. We'll give this another 30 seconds here. Make sure there's no more questions. If you have your questions, feel free to type them in there. There's, as Confucius said, there's no, you know, bad questions. So the only bad question is the question that wasn't asked.
There you go.
We have another question from Greg. Since 5+ headcount works, implementation from start to finish is typically how long? I know it depends on apps, licenses, but generally speaking, how long? Okay, great. So we actually did a 5-person implementation, and with Fast Track, which is one of the options available, you can get up and running within 90 days. Typically, I'd say that for larger organizations, you're going to be looking at something a little longer than that. But I'd say if you're in the, you know, we'll call it 5 to 20 bucket, you know, and you're going for a vanilla implementation, then you're looking at 90 days. If you're looking for something with additional functionality, maybe some bolt-ons, working with the other software solutions you've already got in place, and building those interfaces and getting the systems to talk to each other. That takes a little bit more time. But generally, I'd say you can start at 90 days. And even on the bigger systems, it's still, you'll get your finances up and running even as short as within 60 days, 2 months. You'll have the accountants running on the accounting system, and you can still build out the rest of the system for the rest of the organization and just kind of work it into each department's workload as you phase the project in. That's a great question. Thank you so much, Greg. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any more questions, so we're pushing right up against the limits of our talk here, and just wanted to see if there's any more questions. I'll give it 30 seconds more, and if not, we'll be signing off here. So I wanted to take the opportunity and thank everybody for listening to what Acumatica has to offer and what Skyriver IT has to offer, and want to make sure that you reach out to us, and we'll be reaching out to you after this, and make sure that we got all your questions answered. And if you want to explore Acumatica, we can certainly provide a more customized demo for you and your specific needs. So thank you, everybody. And then Robbie, do you have any final word on Grubhub for everybody?
Yeah, just everyone should have gotten an email from Grubhub last night, and I also sent out the Grubhub instructions and confirmation email earlier today. So if you didn't get that email from Grubhub, or if you have any additional questions, just feel free to say something in the chat or reach out to me, and I can get that resolved for you so you can get your $35 voucher.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, everybody, and enjoy your Wednesday. And thanks for visiting with Skyriver IT and Acumatica. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Robbie.